Hey guys, welcome back to John Rule 16. I am your host Javon, and today we're back with a brand new video. That's right, we're back to part 2 of the Atelier franchise covered on the RX 570. Today I'm running this on my Intel Core i3-10105 with the AMD RX 570 4GB VRAM graphics card. I run it with 16GB of DDR4 RAM and dual channel memory. And today we're testing out Atelier Shallie first, and then we'll move on down to the end of the Atlier's franchise. I'm doing a lot of stuff here right now, man. So once again, we're running at 4K max settings once again. If you just came from the first part, I do recommend, I am doing a part 1 and a part 2. I do recommend you go check out part 1 first, and here we would be here. I covered a bunch of things in the first one, and here we are with Shallie. I want to figure out how the hell I get out of here. I'm just trying to figure it out real quick. Cause crap's confusing. I don't care if you have business or not, Shallie. I need you to get out here. So once again, like I said, we are maxing out 75 FPS. I did notice though, the GPU is starting to, these remakes here, which came out a lot later, they're better remakes than the previous ones because they are pushing the system now. I'm starting to see, which I think is awesome, to be honest with you. But we are gonna move on. Like I said, I don't normally have to show you guys like the fighting every single time because these, oh, there it is. Okay, here we go. Well, I guess I'll show you it after all. But I was gonna say, like, obviously the fighting isn't gonna be as bad as this. You know, walking around is gonna be way more demanding. But since it's the first video, I don't need any of the slow. I don't need any of that. I don't need any of that. And we're gonna move. Oh no!
Place with all kinds of useful things.
It also looks like a place that doesn't have any enemies. Ooh, I like that. Green desert. You've got to be kidding me. It's a cutscene.
Let's finish this quick.
There are no enemies. Are you kidding me? There's no enemies. Oh, there they are. Come here, you. Bruh. Killed it in the first hit.
They haven't noticed. This is our chance. Ha! Let's get him good. Got it. Time for a cool finish. Full power.
And I move on. Moving on once again. Here we are now with Atelier, Escha, and Logy. Now, once again, we are running at 4K max because there are no settings for these games. Either you simply have resolution. These ones do have settings in the config file, but I left them as default, so there's probably maximum, which is why they're so demanding when you actually try to play something on them. But here we are once again hitting 4K, and it's running just fine.
Where are we going?
Let's go out. Let's go fight some creatures and stuff. I'm cool with this. Here we are.
Let's get this done.
It is interesting watching it go up and up. It's like 75% is quite high. The RX 570 looks like it can do this all day long though.
Let's go, everyone.
Yeah.
It's okay. Stay back. Concentrating. Fly.
How's this? It's all right. Whoa, careful! Let's move on.
Moving on once again, we're here to Atelier and Ayesha now, which actually seems to be doing less. It's actually running better than the previous ones. It's crazy. This remaster came with these games. That is strange. Why did that come with these ones? It's not demanding at all. Very interesting. very interesting indeed that this one came with this one. I would think that this would have come with the Rorona and I think it's Meru would have come with those ones, because this is really like, this isn't demanding at all. Like, this is very easy to run. 4K max once again, guys. And I say 4K max loosely. I'm just putting 4K because all you have is a resolution. The config, like I said, the config is still at default, but yeah, which is probably max.
Hey, don't ignore me.
Listen, I got places to be.
That's not what I meant. I guess you're but I see.
Listen, I got places to be, man. Regardless, moving on, because this one runs a bit too well. I didn't expect it to run this well. So we're gonna move on to the next one. I think after this we're finally getting into more of just the normal PC ones again, so it's gonna be bye-bye 4K, I guess. Here we are now switching to Atelier Ryza 2, and finally after all of the Atelier games, I can simply press escape and see the menu. So we're running at 1080p on the standard settings, which is basically normal preset, with texture quality on high to achieve my staggering 75 FPS once again. That's right, we're still maintaining that 75. The game's bloom is ridiculous and motion blur, but it runs at 75 FPS once again on the standard preset. There are a few things here and there that are really demanding in this game that you can turn off, just, you know, just to tweak some things, but for the main part we're gonna keep this to 1080p normal and have some fun there. Just testing it straight through. We're gonna move on and then we're gonna get straight to the city. So the RX 570 has proven that it can handle basically all of the RX 570 games, especially when I'm using my Direct 3D 11 DLL that manages to make the games all utilize the GPU fully, which is nice. So for that, we will be able to maintain most of the frame rates that we normally would need. It'll run really well, is what I'm saying. And the CPU is chilling. The CPU always chills, so you don't gotta worry about that. There you go. It runs fine, and now we're gonna move on to the next. Atelier Sophie 2. It's crazy how here we are now at Atelier Sophie 2. It's crazy too how much better these games got after time, dude. Like, look at this. Here we are with Atelier Sophie 2. Now with this one, I can simply go into my menu and we can make it to the config, the option, graphical settings. I'm running at 1080p basically on the high preset, but we're gonna go to high first because I want to show you guys. Realistically though, we will need the standard preset once again just to maintain this one as well. Standard texture quality to high, and we lock and load once again. As you can see, my GPU is being fully utilized at this point in time. Keep that in mind. This is demanding, but we are using 75, so we could do 60 all day long. You could put a few more things up to the high settings and do 60. As long as you have the Direct 3D 11 DLL. And finally, this is Atelier Sophie 2, and finally we're going to do Atelier Sophie 3, which is kind of the same thing realistically. The games aren't that demanding. They really aren't. Look at all this. Even in here, it still runs at over 70 FPS as long as you have that DLL, man. It is awesome. We're only using 2.8 gigabytes of VRAM too. Am I using less than Ryza 2? I wasn't even paying attention. But we're gonna move on to the final game in the series here, guys. We finally did it. We've made it all the way to the end. Let's move on to Ryza 3 and see if Ryza 3 can also net a 75 at normal settings with the textures on high. And now finally with Atelier Ryza 3. Once again we're running at 1080p on the normal preset with texture quality set to high. As you can see, my GPU is basically pegged at 100%, so standard is perfect here. And we are able to achieve once again that 75 FPS. Like I said, we could put in more, but the high settings will not net you the 75 FPS. It won't even net you 60, and I want to keep at 60 to show you just how powerful the GPU is. But you could do some tweaks here and there, or you can go and watch my actual video, the video I tested with just the game itself, to see that it does run. It can run at 60 on with most things on high. But yeah, this has been the Atelier series, guys. So basically every single game in the Atelier franchise can hit 75 FPS on the RX 570 at 1080p or 4K. That's awesome. Once you have this DLL, by the way. I keep mentioning that, but like I said, if you're new to Koei Tecmo's crappy ports, well, none of their games utilize the GPU fully. So you actually run into issues with every single one of them. So it doesn't actually hit 100. You see my GPU sitting at 99 and 100%. Normally it's saying 70%, and it can't go any higher if you don't use the DLL to get it to run higher. So you don't get as many frames, and I probably would be getting less than 60 right now if I didn't put this in. I just wanted to put that out there. But yeah, all the Atelier games run on the RX 570 at 60 1080p. High settings, and for the last two we went to normal with textures on high, but we could have done high for most of them. I'll see you guys next time. I hope you guys enjoyed this series, man. Took me a minute to do this, took me a lot longer to render all this stuff and then upload it, put in all the information. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed.